Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be tackling village life versus city life.
Yeah,
I think all of us have wondered at some point, what's it like on the other side?
exactly.
Like, if you're a city person, you've probably thought, man, wouldn't it be nice to be in a village?
Right.
And, maybe you're prepping for a move, thinking about a lifestyle change,
Yeah.
or just, curious about these two ways of living.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, the sources we have for this deep dive,
Okay.
they're actually designed for English language learners,
Ah,
which I think is really fun because
Yeah.
they use these really vivid examples that make it easy to understand.
it's true.
Like they really capture the essence of each lifestyle.
Like we're getting to peek into how people actually live in these places.
Right. Not just like a textbook definition.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of definitions, our source kind of kicks things off by painting these contrasting pictures.
Oh.
So village life is all about small communities surrounded by nature.
Ah, I like that.
You can practically hear the birds chirping, right?
Yeah.
But then it throws us into the city.
Okay.
This whirlwind of tall buildings, businesses, and lots of people.
Right, dude. Right.
It's like the language itself speeds up to match the pace.
And it's fascinating how those descriptions tie into like these deeper cultural ideas.
Yeah.
The village is all about peace, slower pace of life,
Right.
that sense of time moving differently.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of chronemics?
Chronemics.
Yeah, it's the study of how different cultures see and experience time.
Oh, interesting.
So in villages, time is often seen as cyclical, connected to nature.
Oh.
The seasons changing and all. But in cities, time's linear, always pushing forward,
Makes sense.
driven by schedules, deadlines, the drill.
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence that the source uses fast pace to describe city life.
That's so true. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
It makes me think about my own relationship with time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm definitely a city person.
Always rushing, always on the go.
Right.
But sometimes I really crave that slower village pace.
Like, we have these inner clocks that are set by our surroundings.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But it's not just time, is it?
Right.
The source also points out some key vocabulary words that define each lifestyle.
Oh, okay.
Like it uses countryside for the village.
I love that word, countryside.
Yeah.
It just evokes that feeling of being away from the hustle and bustle, wide open spaces.
Yeah, you can just breathe easier thinking about it.
It's true.
And then you have urban, which focuses on the human-made, the concrete jungle.
Right.
The contrast between nature and what we've built.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
The source gives these example sentences like little snippets of life in each setting.
Oh, I like that.
So imagine you're strolling through a village
Mm-hmm.
and you overhear someone say, "The countryside is so beautiful here.
Right.
I love the fresh air and open spaces." Yeah, I can picture it.
And then in the city, you might catch someone saying,
Okay.
I love the energy here. There's always something happening.
Yeah.
And the opportunities are endless.
You can feel the ambition in the air.
Right. And that kind of sets up the next part of the source.
Okay.
It breaks down the comparison by environment, lifestyle, and opportunities.
Gotcha.
Like a scorecard for each way of life.
But it goes deeper than just listing pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
What's really cool is how all those factors are connected.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the source mentions villages sometimes lacking facilities,
Yeah.
like big hospitals or shopping centers,
Right.
which makes sense, right?
Oh, yeah. Smaller population,
Mm-hmm.
less demand for specialized services.
But what happens when someone needs more than the village can offer?
That's a good question. Like, what if you have a rare health condition?
Right.
Or you're an entrepreneur trying to launch a tech startup?
That's where the city's advantages come in.
Makes sense.
The source talks about all these opportunities. Mm-hmm.
But it's not just the quantity, it's the variety
Right.
and the scale of those opportunities.
So it's like we have the peaceful village,
Yeah.
strong sense of community, connection to nature,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe limited job options.
And then you have the bustling city,
Right.
endless possibilities,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe you feel anonymous, disconnected from nature.
And it's like each lifestyle has its own trade-offs.
Exactly.
And the source starts to hint at this when it talks about the slower pace of village life,
Oh, yeah.
which can be a dream come true for some,
Right.
but for others, it might feel stifling.
Especially if they're used to that city energy.
And on the flip side, that city energy can be intoxicating,
Oh, yeah.
but it comes with a price.
What do you mean?
Have you ever noticed how city dwellers always seem to be rushing,
It's true?
like trying to keep up with the pace of the city itself?
It's like the city has its own heartbeat.
Yeah.
And if you don't sync up with it, you get left behind.
It's not just what each lifestyle offers, it's how it fits with you, your personality, your values.
Right, exactly.
So we have these two contrasting pictures.
Yeah.
The idyllic village, the vibrant city.
But before we get too caught up in the romantic versions,
Yeah.
let's dig a little deeper.
Okay.
What are the hidden costs?
What are the unexpected benefits?
Things that might surprise us.
And most importantly, what do these differences tell us about what it really means to live well?
Right, because isn't that what it's all about?
Finding a way to thrive no matter where we are.
I think so.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so let's
dive in.
Yeah.
All right, so let's head back to the village for a bit.
Okay.
The source really emphasizes that sense of peace and quiet,
Yeah.
which I think can be so appealing in our world today.
It's true. It's like hitting the reset button. You trade sirens and notifications for bird song,
Right, exactly.
rustling leaves.
And there's actual research on this,
Oh, really? Okay.
Spending time in nature can lower those stress hormones
Oh, wow.
and boost your mood.
Interesting.
And that connection to nature goes beyond just feeling good.
Right.
The source mentions open spaces.
Yeah.
That sense of freedom, it's not just what's around you,
Right.
but how much space your mind has
Ooh, I like that.
to wander, to explore.
I've always been drawn to those images of village life, baking bread, tending a garden,
Yeah.
knowing everyone in town.
Right.
But honestly, I kind of wonder what people do all day in a village.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And the source kind of touches on that.
Okay.
When it mentions villages sometimes lacking certain facilities,
Right.
it hints at a potential downside. Jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Limited job opportunities,
If you're in a specialized field or looking to climb that career ladder,
Right.
a village might not have what a city does.
It makes sense, though, right?
Well, yeah.
Smaller population, less demand for those specialized services.
But what if you need regular treatment from a specialist? Suddenly, that peaceful village life,
Yeah.
it gets a little complicated.
Yeah, right.
You gain tranquility and that sense of community.
But maybe you're factoring in travel time for healthcare
Yeah.
or even just shopping for certain things.
Right?
And this brings us to another point about village life.
Okay.
The slower pace,
Yeah, we talked about that.
appealing for some, challenging for others.
Right.
On one hand, you step off that treadmill of constant doing, but if you thrive on that hustle and bustle,
Yeah.
that slower pace might feel, well,
A little boring. Yeah.
it all comes down to what energizes you.
Right.
If you're always seeking new experiences,
Mm-hmm.
thriving in those fast-paced environments,
Yeah.
the village might feel too quiet.
Right. But if you find comfort in routine,
Yeah.
predictability,
hmm
strong community ties,
The village could be the perfect escape from the city.
I see your point.
Okay, so let's shift gears and head into the city.
All right. I'm ready.
The source describes it as this dynamic hub.
Okay.
Tall buildings, businesses, lots of people.
You really feel like you're in the thick of it.
Yeah, and it emphasizes exciting, that allure of possibility,
Right.
opportunity.
It's true.
Cities are magnets for creatives,
Yeah.
entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
anyone seeking a wide range of experiences.
I can see that.
You've got world-class everything, dining, entertainment,
Yeah.
culture, industries pushing the boundaries.
It's a lot to take in.
No wonder the source talks about cities teeming with opportunity.
It's like the world shrinks down to a few city blocks.
Yeah.
You walk outside and you're immersed in this global tapestry.
Right. Cultures, languages, perspectives.
It's really energizing. But I've also felt that other side,
What do you mean?
that anonymity the source mentions.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by millions and you can still feel inevitable.
It's a paradox.
It is.
Constant access to social interaction,
Yeah.
but you can feel disconnected, lonely,
Just another face in the crowd.
and building meaningful connections.
It can be tough.
Yeah.
It can be really tough.
And even if you find your people,
Yeah.
city living comes with a price tag.
Oh, you mean.
Cost of living.
Right.
The source doesn't say it directly, but it's a big factor.
It is.
You have all these opportunities,
Yeah.
but can you afford to enjoy them?
Good point.
It's true.
Housing, transportation, even basic necessities.
Right.
It all costs more in the city.
And it adds up.
This creates this constant pressure
Yeah.
that the source doesn't really explore.
I think you're right.
It's not just the opportunities themselves, it's how accessible they are.
So we have these two very different lifestyles,
Yeah.
each with their own appeal and their own challenges.
I think the source is hinting at something bigger here.
Oh, like what?
It's not about choosing one over the other.
Okay.
It's about finding that sweet spot.
The balance.
Exactly.
That works for you.
Yeah, like we're breaking out of that village or our city,
Exactly.
thinking it's not about picking sides.
It's more like finding what works for you.
Right, creating this hybrid.
Yeah, blending the best of both.
And recognizing
Yeah.
that what we want changes
Oh, absolutely.
over time.
Like what appeals to us in our 20s
Right.
might not be the right fit later on.
Yeah, like maybe you crave that city energy when you're young,
Right.
but then later you start thinking about community,
Yeah.
connection to nature.
It's about being open to those changes.
I know I felt that shift.
Really?
Yeah, a few years ago. I never would have left the city.
Right.
But lately,
Yeah.
I've been thinking about a garden,
Ah,
knowing my neighbors,
I like that.
maybe even learning to bake bread.
Like those village scenes we see?
Yeah.
It's about adapting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To those changing needs.
And finding ways to bring those elements together.
Exactly.
Like what if you could have a mini village in the city?
Oh, interesting.
Community gardens, shared workspaces,
Yeah.
even potlucks.
Like building that village feeling.
Right in your apartment building.
And on the flip side,
Yeah.
bringing a bit of that city buzz to village life.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like starting a book club,
Yeah.
movie nights,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even launching a business.
I've heard about villages becoming hubs for remote workers,
Oh, yeah.
bringing that global perspective.
Blending those worlds.
It's cool.
It is.
So the lines are getting blurry,
It's true.
and it challenges how we think about village and city life.
And it all comes back to choice.
Yeah.
We're not just stuck.
Yeah.
We have the power to shape our lives,
Oh, that's a good point.
our surroundings.
Okay, so as we wrap up,
Yeah.
the source leaves us with this thought.
Okay.
Whether you prefer one or the other,
Mm-hmm.
it's important to appreciate both lifestyles.
I like that.
But what if we take it further?
How do you mean?
Instead of just appreciating,
Yeah.
we find ways to actually blend them,
Oh, I see.
like actively creating that hybrid life.
So could you make a mini village in your city apartment?
Mm-hmm.
Or bring that urban energy to your village?
It's about designing a life that fits,
Exactly.
no matter where you are.
That's what makes this so interesting.
Yeah,
There's no right answer.
right.
It's about making choices that feel right for you.
That lead to a life that's truly yours.
Keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
Keep designing that life
That resonates with you.
wherever you choose to be.